started this gangster shit. Mr. Motherfucker, thanks I get. Hello. I started this gangster shit. And this the motherfucker, thanks I get. Hello.
Having fun? Subscribe to this channel. We need you here.
Hey, welcome. It's Comic Artist Pro Secrets, and my name is Ethan Van Sciver, 26-year veteran of the comic book industry, world's most charming, elegant, eloquent, and yet humble man. Great big Star Wars fan, trusted member of the media. I am the opposite of Rich Johnson, who is the slimiest, most disingenuous, creepy loser, I think, in comics. What a terrible human being. Now, as long as I've known Rich Johnson, he has had an agenda against this man right here, Dan DiDio. Now, I've worked in comics for 26 years. 20 of those years, I spent pretty happily working for Dan DiDio at DC Comics. Most of that time, I think Dan came in around 2003. And he was great to me. He treated me really well. I've known Lilani for almost as long. When they first met, I think they met at a Florida comic book convention that I was at. And it was really nice. They've been in love for a long time, and they're finally tying the knot. Now, Rich Johnson, again, disingenuous, I think sick, I think mentally ill perhaps at this point, slimy individual who uses his Bleeding Cool. Okay, he works for Bleeding Cool. This is one of the worst websites in comics, at least when Rich Johnson writes for it. Uses his Bleeding Cool website to basically just throw a bucket of garbage at these newlyweds and just basically compare real life. Try and basically ask aloud, why does your real life? Here's Rich's bright question. Here's Rich's big brain, galaxy brain question. Why does your real life get to end better than your fictional comic book characters? Why? And in order to do this, he's going to create hate for these two. Looks like they were married on the 4th of July in Puerto Rico, and he goes into their wedding album that they shared on their private social media account, which is Facebook, I believe. I believe they're only on Facebook, and he starts sharing. I'm going to zoom right past all this. It's nobody's business. It's nobody's business. All right, we can do this. That was Dan at a comic convention giving a speech about why comic book characters shouldn't be married. And Rich Johnson is going to use this. Rich Johnson thinks that he can take these words and shove them into Dan DiDio's face. Like, yeah, well, doesn't this mean the same thing to you? I don't know what is wrong with comic book people, but this industry is brimming with hatred and anger, the likes of which I've never seen. I mean, the word toxic really means something. It really means something when you interact with these people. The comic book industry is full of some of the worst people that I've ever encountered. Dan DiDio is not one of them, and neither is Lilani, and they don't deserve this. They don't deserve this treatment. And I say that having, walked away from DC Comics. I plan to never ask them for anything ever again. They were good to me. They're good people. They do not deserve this kind of treatment. It's ridiculous, and it doesn't make any sense. Talking about the Batman Catwoman story that never happened, we never want to tell the last story, and the wedding felt like the last story. They're referring to the Tom King story in which Batman, for some reason, and this was a terrible story idea, Bruce Wayne would never do this, proposed to Catwoman. He said, I just want to be happy. That's not what Bruce Wayne wants to do. That's not what Batman's mission is, to be personally happy. His mission is to destroy crime. It's to fight crime in Gotham City. So the thing that ruined his life as a little boy doesn't hurt anyone else. That's what Bruce Wayne's main drive is, not personal happiness. And in any case, in this story, Selina Kyle, Catwoman, agrees to marry Bruce Wayne and then jilts him at the altar. And from then on, Batman is a loop-de-loo. He's overcome with grief and emotion and devastation. It's an awful, awful story. But this has nothing to do with that or this. Heroes shouldn't have happy personal lives. They're committed to being the person, that person, and committed to defending others at the sacrifice of their own personal interests. That's every reason for Batman and Catwoman to not get married, and every reason for Batman to have already known that about himself. That's why it was a bad story. Okay? So he goes on, Dan DiDio goes on. That's very important and something we reinforced. People in the Bat family have their personal lives basically suck. All right? Dick Grayson, rest in peace. Oh, shouldn't have said that. Dan's joking. He always wants to kill Dick Grayson. Bruce Wayne, Tim Drake, Barbara Gordon, and Kathy Kane. It's wonderful that they try to establish personal lives, but it's equally important that they set them aside. That is our mandate, that is our edict, and that is our stand. Okay? So the Bat family, we don't want them to get married because, well, one, it's a terrible story. Nobody wants to read a story about that, really. They want to read a story about, vigilantes with high-tech weapons that are out there to fight crime for justice. That's what the Bat stories are about. They're not about everyone being happy and finding peace. No peace ever. It's Batman. There's Dan, giving his speech at a convention. And he goes like that. Rich Johnson goes on. But DC Comics publishers can have happy personal lives. Why is that? What? Yeah, it's not fair, is it, Rich? The Batman doesn't get to be happy, but a real person, two real people with kids, they do get to be happy. That's not fair. That doesn't make any sense in my little NPC brain, in my weirdo SJW poisoned brain. Doesn't make sense. My brain that's been plugging away at trying to destroy Dan DiDio for years, for decades now. A decade and a half, I don't know. Doesn't make sense that Dan gets to be happy, but Batman doesn't. Imagine that. This was all still pre-DC Rebirth, when it turned out that Clark Kent can be married to Lois Lane and have a kid, even if it means people think Lois is cheating on Clark with Superman, and Aquaman and Mara can be married too, as long as Aquaman loses his memory and gets sent into a demigod pocket reality as soon as Mara is pregnant. And also, Hawkwoman and Martian Manhunter can also be married, but only in the future, and Wally West will kill as many superheroes as when he can't get his wife and his kids back. So, mixed messages so far. Mixed messages. Yeah, isn't that weird how all of these fictional superheroes have dramatic, over-the-top, roiled lives of chaos and turbulence? Isn't that weird? And yet normal people try to endeavor and deserve to have happy lives, happy personal lives. That doesn't make sense to SJWs. SJWs don't get that because, their comics are just as boring as real life is, and they are just as evil as the supervillains within the comic books themselves. So, in real life, congratulations to Dan and Lilani from All At Bleeding Cool. Go to hell, dude. Go to hell. And then he gets this little slight in there. Say, I wonder if there may be a spectator rush or a speculator rush for the first appearance of the female Fury's character Sweet Lilani, created by Dan DiDio and Keith Giffen in OMAC number 5. Go, Rich. I don't know what to do. I don't know what you should. Just go crawl back under your rock. Will you leave people alone? Is it possible for you to just leave normal people alone? Why are you so full of hate? Why are you so hate-filled? What's with this mean streak? What is with this mean streak of yours? It's disgusting. And even your fans. I mean, people, look at this here. This is a shitty. Shitty is an SJW word. This is a shitty post, man. Very personal attack. Can't believe Bleeding Cool editorial allowed this. Well, you seem to have higher standards and higher expectations for Bleeding Cool than anyone else does. I'm not surprised that they allowed this at all. This is par for the course. This is incredible. Imagine this. Imagine the audacity of this. The audacity of this post. What a piece of garbage Rich Johnson is. Way to share photos stolen from a private social media account, you clown. This whole post is gross as F. Next person, take this down. This is a weird, Devin Grayson, this is a weird invasion of privacy. Devin Grayson, writer of Stuff. Mark Wade's ex-girlfriend. And wrote Ghost Rider for my friend Trent Kanuga. Yeah, this is. Rich Johnson, imagine being you. Imagine being such a poor sport, such a horrible, garbage human, that you would try to ruin this couple's wedding like this. You'd use Bleeding Cool's editorial space to snag their wedding photos, sneer at them. You are garbage. You're human garbage. You validate everything that I ever say about you. You validate. You prove me right all the time. I appreciate it. I like being proved right. Thanks for watching this video, and if you haven't yet subscribed, please do subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, and I'll be back with another video a little bit later. Thanks a lot.
Hey, I got a P.O. box. Want to send me some mail? Send it to Ethan Van Sciver, P.O. Box 607, Marlton, New Jersey, 08053, and I'll probably open it up on a live stream. Thanks very much, everyone. Hey, you want to follow me on Twitter? Are you sure? Well, if so, I'm at Ethan Van Sciver. That's at Ethan Van Sciver. See you there. Join the fandom menace and execute your own Order 66 with our incredible line of t-shirts, Soylo, a Soy Wars story, Tico, a Soy Wars story, and our brand new smoking hot Soy Wars Plan 9. Make a statement today. This is the only trilogy you'll ever need. The link is below in the description. Hello, potential Indiegogo backers. Hello, friends. My name is Ethan Van Sciver. I'm a comic book creator who worked for 20 years for Marvel and DC Comics on books like Green Lantern, Flash, Superman, Batman, and X-Men. But before that, I had a comic book called Cyberfrog. Now, Cyberfrog lasted from 1993 to 1998, and then it stopped when I went to go work for DC Comics. Now I want to tell the story of where Cyberfrog has been for the last 20 years. I want to write, pencil, ink a book called Cyberfrog Blood Honey that tells the story of gigantic alien hornets that come to Earth and conquer it, sending Cyberfrog into deep hibernation, where he emerges now in the year 2018 into a completely alternate reality, a new world where these hornets have taken over, devastated humanity, using human skin to make gigantic wasp hives, and harvesting human blood to make honey to feed their young. Very few humans still exist. But it's up to Cyberfrog to save what's left of humanity and turn back the damage that's been done by these wasps with his brother Salamandroid and his friend Heather Swain. I want you to help me do this. We're going to get colors by Kyle Ritter. He's a fantastic colorist, and he's going to make this book sing. I'd like this to be a 48-page one-shot prestige format, part 1 of 4. So I'm asking you to help me launch the very first Cyberfrog Blood Honey epic graphic novel. Are you in? Will you help me? I hope so. Let's get this frog jumping again. If you enjoyed this video and want to become part of this community, subscribe to this channel by clicking the laughing man face logo right on your screen. Ring the bell for notifications as well. You'll never miss a live chat. And stay tuned, another video by Comic Artist Pro Secrets is coming right up.